Hey everybody, Kevin Elliott here with HomeDabbler. I'm here in Point Washington today working on my little cottage project, and it dawned on me that I haven't shown you the inside. I haven't taken you on a tour. I showed you the outside a little bit in my last video, but I'd like you to see what it's like inside there, like the time capsule that it is, before I start moving things around and doing demo too much. So, you want to see the inside? Let's go. So here we are inside the Point Washington cottage. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it like a time capsule? It's great. So right now we're standing inside the living room. And you can tell because there's somebody's chair right there that they were sitting in, and you'll notice the kerosene heater right there. I think it's kerosene, by the way. If it's not, somebody correct me. And so people sat in the living room in the evenings and warmed themselves on cold nights. So can you imagine how many Christmases and birthdays and just quiet nights sitting in this living room, reading books and talking to each other, playing cards, they spent sitting right around that stove. It's just amazing. Now, another thing about this living room that's behind you, and I'll show you in just a second, is that there are some little built-in bookshelves right in this corner right here. And everyone I've talked to in my wife's family who remembers Point Washington remembers those bookshelves, and they were lined with like Harlequin romances and dime novels and that kind of thing. And so the kids would sit there and thumb through them and read them. All the older folks would read, but it's one of their most cherished memories is of people reading in this space right here. Isn't that special? Isn't that great? Also, so right over behind me here, there's this little nook behind that half wall right there. There is an old sewing machine. There's a vanity in that area, some old chests, like big steamer trunk type things. I mean, the most amazing things. It's like they just left this house one day and never came back, and the stuff was sitting here, waiting for us to find it. And so we have. What a great thing. Now, I'm going to take you into the kitchen next, which is even cooler in a lot of ways. So let's go. Check this thing out. Isn't it great? Lots of windows. You'll notice these old windows. Those are original windows, by the way. This house has almost all of its original single pane windows. It's pretty amazing that they lasted and survived this long. But you'll notice in the kitchen here, the cool thing is, like in the kitchen, the same in the rest of the house, is that everything was hand built. There were no custom anything. There were no big box stores to go buy your kitchen cabinetry from or anything like that. And they built their cabinets by hand, and they put the countertop there, looking outside the window when they were, I don't know, doing dishes or cutting. Now, speaking of doing dishes, this house did not originally have indoor plumbing. It didn't have a bathroom. It didn't have a commode. It didn't have any of that stuff. It had a privy out in the yard. And so plumbing like this, you'll see under the table here, plumbing like this was a later addition. It came in quite a bit later, as a matter of fact. So I've been told by family members that they can remember using the privy out in the yard and that kind of thing. The other thing about kitchens is that, unlike today where we hang out, kitchens are like a destination in houses now, they weren't then. They were very utilitarian. People didn't hang out in them largely because, at least in Florida, it was hot. It's hot most of the year, and then you turn on an oven or something like that, and it gets just blistering in here. And so people didn't hang out. It's very sort of plain utilitarian type of space. But isn't it great? Now, the other thing that's wonderful is like this fridge, this vintage old, I don't know, 1940s maybe, 50s. I don't know anything about refrigerators, but I'd love to restore it. I know nothing about that. So if any of you do, please let me know what to do with this thing, because I'd really like to fix it up. I have lots of ideas for this kitchen. I actually want to open it up a little bit and maybe take that wall out and let it open into the living room space. But for now, this is what we're working with. I'm going to show you another side of the house now that is a little bit more, not a little bit, it's a lot more beat up than the rest of the house. But this is where the bedrooms were and that kind of thing. So let's go. All right, now we're in a part of the house that needs a little bit more work, to say the least. You'll notice that I had to already take out a lot of the flooring. This house was built just like they built all the old ones back then, and they did all the floors in tongue and groove pine plank flooring. It was beautiful. It's the stuff you pay lots and lots of money for now. That was the kind of thing that those poor people used in their houses back then, because North Florida is full of pine trees. Unfortunately, this house got a big oak limb broke through the roof in a few places over the years. And it rained on this part of the house for a very long time, rotted all the flooring out, unfortunately. That said, I have some plans, some ways that I think I'm going to be able to reclaim and patch up and figure that out, but that's for another video. But I wanted to show you this space. It's essentially half the house. So the house has a wall right down the middle, kitchen over there, living room that I just showed you. And over here were the bedrooms, and then down later in the later years, there was a little tiny bathroom right there. But the good thing about this is that, as you see, it's a completely wide open space all the way to the other side of the house. And so I plan for this to be the bedrooms. This house is going to have 2 bedrooms and 1 little bathroom. We're sitting, you and I, in the master bedroom right now. And then about halfway in here, we're going to have a little tiny bathroom that is also going to be shared by the other bedroom, which will be on the far side over there. And so a little 2-bed, 1-bath, kitchen, nice sized living room. It's going to be just the cutest thing that you've ever seen. Lots of plans, lots of dreams, lots of ideas for this space. So now that you've seen it a little bit, you see we have lots to work with, even though it's a tiny little cottage. So I'd love your ideas. Send me pictures, send me ideas, send me your thoughts on what this could and should look like. I really do want to do this with you and get your feedback and make this a project we can all share. So that's my little tour of the place. Thanks for coming along with me. More to come. Next time I do a video, it will be more demo and techniques and showing you materials I'm working with and that kind of thing. But at least you know what we're working with. Thanks for joining me.